Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for everything Royal Caribbean related. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Happy Monday, everybody. We are live on Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas. I am coming to you live from our Crown. Is it a Crown Loft Suite? It's a loft suite. I don't know exactly which kind. Don't worry, it's not that exciting. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's not Star Class by any means. I forget which one it is, but it's a loft suite here on Allure of the Seas. We're having a great time. Day 2, and we're taking the long way to Mexico. Not to worry, well out of the way of Hurricane Ian. But thank you for joining us here. A little different timing. We've got dinner time tonight on the cruise ship, and when 150 Central Park calls your name, you got to make sure you rearrange your schedule. So welcome. We're here to answer as many Royal Caribbean cruise questions as I possibly can, starting with the most important question: how many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? If your countdown in chat, let's count down together. Yeah, we are early today. Sharon Stockman says we're early today, and that is because again we have dinner plans. And but I wanted to make sure we're doing a live today, and Allure's internet. It's not Starlink yet, but it's performing pretty well. So it's nice to have us, be able to talk with all of you guys here on YouTube. So thank you for joining us here. The Teresa McChain, hello and welcome. Good to see you. Kim Oakland, what's going on? Tony Diaz in the chat. I met somebody brand new on this cruise, and they said, man, it's so funny when you give Tony all that flack. And I'm like, you know what? He deserves every little bit of it. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you all on here. We're on a 6-night cruise here on Allure of the Seas, heading to Cozumel and Costa Maya. We're supposed to go to Roatan. Roatan's been dropped because of the hurricane. But other than that, 6-night cruise. We'll be back in on Saturday. So we're here to answer your Royal Caribbean cruise questions. So type your questions in chat. We'll answer them as fast as we can, starting with a question from Jorgen. Any advice on a cruise out of Miami this Friday and flying in Thursday? Will the airport still allow flights in? Absolutely. South Florida, which is where you're going, is largely unaffected by this storm. The storm is going up the west coast of Florida. And I know that if you're not a Floridian, it's really easy to assume, oh, Hurricane Florida, that sounds awful. It's a big state. Florida is a very large state geographically, a very spread out state. And Miami and Fort Lauderdale are in the southeastern corner of the state. It's not in the cone of whatever. I think you'll have a pretty good chance of being able to make it down there. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't promise you that. But South Florida and really Southeast Florida in general is not in the realms of issues here. You're really the problem areas, if you want to call it that. Again, I'm not a meteorologist or anything like that. But it's really, we're talking about the west coast of Florida, the Panhandle, maybe even Central Florida to some extent, but it's not Southeast Florida. So you'll be, I think, totally fine there, Jorgen. I wouldn't expect any problems for you, as if things continue the way they are right now. And again, I am not a predictor. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just sharing with you as things look right now. So Steve Cohen says, no sign of Starlink on Harmony. I went to the top tier event today on Allure of the Seas, and I saw the IT officer, and I said, hello. So when is Starlink coming on there? And this guy should be a lawyer, because he would not budge on anything resembling a hint, even though I'm like, he said, it'll be ready by the end of Q1 2023, which of course is the official line. I said, yes, but you can see the satellite dish is on here. So when's it going to be on? Well, he didn't give me any information. I tried my best to get some inside information, and I got nothing for you guys. So I'm really sorry. But the internet is working really well here on Allure, so I really can't complain. So OSU Ackett? Osu Ackett? I apologize. Also on Allure of the Seas. Hopefully we'll see you around the ship tonight. That'd be great. I've met a lot of good people so far on board the ship. A lot of good friends who stopped by, said hello, and it's always nice when that happens. As I always say, if you see me on a cruise ship, please say hello, unless I am in the middle of yelling at my kids, and my kids aren't on board the ship. So there's probably no excuse that you can't say hello to me on board if you see me. You're not bothering me. Let's see here. Alan checking in from the Navigator of the Seas. Hello, Alan. Good to see you. Welcome. Aaron wants to know where we're heading for dinner tonight. We're going to 150 Central Park. This is one of our favorite restaurants. For years I avoided 150 Central Park. I always thought, it's got to be a frou-frou restaurant, too weird for me. No, I regret I didn't go there sooner. So, yeah. It's a great restaurant. Let's see here. Brandon wants to know, is Starlink active on any ships besides Freedom? Yes, Independence of the Seas. So it's on Independence. Levi wants to know, which is bigger, Allure or Wonder? The answer is Wonder of the Seas, but we're talking about a couple meters, Levi. It's not like it's double or triple or even a quarter larger. It's like a meter or two in the bow. I mean, every Oasis class ship has been just a little bit bigger than their predecessor, but it's always by like a meter or two, just so that they can Royal Caribbean's marketing department keep rolling out, hey, it's the world's largest cruise ship, and go about it that way. So, yeah. 17th Republic wants to know, Newark, LaGuardia, or JFK for sailing out in Jersey? Newark. You want to sail out of Newark Airport. It is light years better for you to sail out of Newark than LaGuardia or JFK. I would definitely do Newark first, priority, then Kennedy, then LaGuardia. In terms of traffic and logistics, I mean, Newark is going to be, it's so much easier. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to fly out of Newark. So if you have the choice, that definitely would be the case. Glenn wants to know, go on a cruise in March. Where the heck are the shore excursions? I don't know. The answer is they'll eventually show up there, Glenn. Not to worry. You know, I always tell people 6 months is a good timeline for when you could check back for shore excursions. There is no specific date, Glenn. There is no, hey, check back X amount of days before your cruise and you will see the shore excursion options that are there. It doesn't work that way. It's just magic. One day it's there, one day it's not. Or one day it's not, then one day it's there. Regardless of that fact, just keep checking back. It will eventually show up over there. Not to worry. Eduardo says, missed the live last week, was on Mariner avoiding Fiona. Question, what's the worst weather you personally experienced? Ooh. I was on Quantum of the Seas years ago. We had really bad seas, but I wasn't that seasick on it. You know what's interesting, Eduardo? I've gotten more seasick on just like run-of-the-mill, like, you know, motion in the ocean. Not like, you know, 10-meter waves or anything like that. Like, just like gentle rocking. Like, I got seasick on Wonder of the Seas last March. There was a media cruise, and I was on there, and I was recording YouTube narration. And the combination of a little bit of movement and me focusing on the screen made me seasick, which is just, it's like silly. So, but I think that's, I want to say something along the lines of like 10-foot waves, something like that. But we're nothing like, I don't have any good stories at Ward. I don't have, which is good. I'm very happy to say that. And proof of that, you know, we've got Hurricane Ian and we're sailing around Cuba. We left Fort Lauderdale. If you know your geography, if you're going to Mexico, you get out of Florida, you immediately make a left turn, go through the Straits of Florida, right? So you're going to go by the Florida Keys and Cuba. Instead, we're going the other way. We're going around Cuba, like towards Europe first, then taking a big old left turn around Cuba and going back underneath it in order to avoid the storm. So a circumnavigational tour of Europe. Grand Circle Tour, as they might say. Avish wants to know, can I have a Royal Genie without saying a suite but paying a couple $1,000s more? No, you can't. It's either you have a suite that has the Genie or you don't get it at all. So hope that makes sense. Let's see here. We have some super chats to catch up on. I'm sorry here. Starting off with Carter. Carter, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Matt, hope you're having a nice time on Allure. Just curious if there's a reason why there can't be a perfect day cruise that goes from Galveston. I mean, Royal Caribbean would answer this better. My only guess, Carter, is just logistics. It's just too far away. Not they couldn't make it, but it's cheaper and faster to go to the Western Caribbean, Mexico, Honduras, Belize. It's just the logistics, the distance required, fuel, all that makes it just simply easier, cheaper, however you want to look at it, to cruise to the Western Caribbean. So hope that makes sense there. Casey, thank you for the super chat. Casey, I don't see a message from you, but thank you, Casey, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Next super chat is from Advira, 6891. 255 days till Ovation. This is, my wife is disabled. We have an accessible ocean view. Do we get the opportunity to royal up to a better accessible? That's an excellent question. I don't believe so. But Advira, I think what you're asking is, you're in an accessible room. Can you do a royal up to another accessible room? And I don't believe there is a distinction there. I believe that if you were to do a royal up, it would just be to any old room, accessible or not. So if you need an accessible room, I believe the answer is no, that wouldn't work for you, because you potentially could get a royal up to a non-accessible room. And I don't believe there's a checkbox or an option for that. I could be wrong. This is the first time I've ever had this question, but I've never seen that option before, and I don't recall ever hearing something about it. So, yeah, that's a bad answer, but here I am. 12th man proud with an epic Slap Tony Diaz super chat. Woo! 12th man proud, thank you so much. We were just talking about you. Jenna and I are on the Allure of the Seas. We're just talking about we haven't seen you in a little bit, buddy. Hello, Matt, been a while. What's your rent for sailing out of Southampton? Do you know what the extra fee is for entering London starting next year? I think. Boy, those are great questions. So the protocols for any cruise that happen to be out there right now are on Royal Caribbean's website. I'll be the first to tell you 12th man proud. Honestly, if you're going on a cruise next year, I wouldn't even bother checking it. I mean, it's so far out there. The protocols could change. I mean, you can certainly check it today. There's nothing wrong with that. What you want to do is go to Royal Caribbean's website. When you go to their website, on the very top of the page, there's like a white bar, and there's something text about protocols or COVID or something like that. Click on that, and in there you'll have specific protocols related to COVID-19. You know, the good news, 12th man proud, because I know that you're vaccinated because we were on a cruise together earlier this year when the protocols required it, is that in Europe, the protocols have really eroded just like here in the U.S. There's only a couple places that still require it in Europe. I think like Greece and like Italy or one of them, but the UK, as far as I know, is not the issue. I'm not familiar with any fee for entering London next year. I wish I could give you a better answer on that, but I don't have any. Boy, this is a really bad answer for a good question, and I apologize. But honestly, when it relates to the protocols, my advice to you, as it relates as we're sitting here in late September 2022, is look at the protocols, you know, for what they are. But these protocols, 12th man, are really rooted in 2022 sailings. For 2023, it's a different ball game, and so for that reason, I wouldn't put much stock, or I wouldn't worry too much about what they are today. I just keep an eye on it, revisit it, you know, as we get closer to the spring of next year. So, yeah. Hope that makes sense. Thank you for your very, 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 very generous super chat. Let's see here. The Teresa McChain. Teresa, thank you for the super chat. Order scallops, tenderloin for 2, and fried cheesecake. Can't go wrong. I know you don't eat seafood. I do eat seafood. I don't eat shellfish, but I would eat fish. But that being said, Teresa, you hit the 2 most important words out there when it relates to 150 Central Park. Fried cheesecake. We're really just there for the fried cheesecake. The fact that we get an excellent beef tenderloin, the fact that we get some amazing appetizers, that's not bad, you know. But we're really just there for the fried cheesecake. So yes, definitely gonna get that. That is a must order, Teresa. Thank you for your generosity. Wesley, thank you for the super chat. Any idea what's happened to the deluxe dining package? It disappeared from the cruise planner. I'm not familiar with your sailing, but sometimes it does go away. Could be a couple of reasons, Wesley. Chief among them, number 1, it could have sold out. Sometimes they pull it when they're not going to offer it anymore, Wesley. I've done a number of sailings this year in which the unlimited dining package gets pulled. Could it come back? Yes, it could. Will it come back? Boy, do I have no idea. You never know. But this is number 1, a good reminder that if you're interested in buying a drink package, a dining package, a shore excursion, and you're not like 100% sure, but you're pretty sure you might want it, it's always a good idea to book it, lock in not only the price, but also the package here, the option. And that way, if it is pulled later on, you've already got it. So I suspect, Wesley, basically, most likely answer, I'm not saying it is the answer, the most likely answer is that it's simply sold out, not available anymore. So, sorry. Let's see here. Randy Ruddle. What's up, Randy? Good to see you here. My wife and daughter left out of Independence today in the Ben and Jerry's room. Nice. That is a really cool cabin. So this is a cabin only on the Freedom class ships. There's one Royal Promenade room that is called the Ben and Jerry's suite. This is right over the Ben and Jerry's ice cream on the Royal Promenade, and you get special benefits and perks. So kind of a cool thing right there. AD, thank you for the super chat. Woo! Thanks for all the great info and something to look forward to each Monday. Help Tony to find some headgear to protect his face. Again, I'm not saying anybody should ever slap Tony Diaz. I'm saying it's such a good super chat, you would think like you'd want to, but you shouldn't do it. But we love Tony Diaz. Poor guy. I can just imagine he's just minding his own business on a cruise at the roulette tables. I'm not even going to joke about it. He's a good guy in there. Mike Pastore in the house. Speaking of good guys, hello. Avish is happy birthday, Avish. Should I go on shore excursions on my first cruise? Absolutely, yes. I think it would be a mistake not to go on a shore excursion on any cruise. I mean, if you have been there, done that, guy, you've cruised, a number of times, you've been to a particular port a number of times, sure, you can stay on board the ship. But if it's your first cruise, I don't care if you're going to Nassau, I don't care if you're going to Cozumel, I don't care if you're going to wherever Tony Diaz's hometown is, you should go on a shore excursion. It's one of the best parts about a cruise vacation. Highly recommend it. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Beth Bean has our next question for us. I know Brilliance doesn't have the bells and whistles like the mega shows, but do you like the atmosphere of the ship? Absolutely. Love Brilliance. I go, Beth, on Brilliance once a year because I really, really like it quite a bit. Michael Powers, could Icon of the Seas go to Galveston? Yeah, it's certainly possible. Now, why do I say that? Well, I don't have any more information than you do, Michael. But when Royal Caribbean designed its new cruise terminal in Galveston, they specifically said that that terminal, that dock, that the pier can accommodate an Icon class ship. So I would say there's a yes. The answer is, could it? Absolutely. Cruise Teen, great name. Cruises Teen. I don't know. Thank you. I've been listening to some of your older podcast episodes, and I wish I could try that famous guacamole from Sabor. Do you think the guacamole available on Wonder is as good? No, I mean, there's no Sabor on there, number one. Number two, guacamole I've gotten in Royal Caribbean outside of Sabor has been pretty boring. Not boring, what's the word? Less than impressive. Just like mediocre, average, run-of-the-mill, however you want to look at it. And honestly, I just ate at Sabor yesterday here on Allure. This is one of the few ships still has Sabor left, and it was okay. It wasn't what it used to be. It's unfortunately Royal Caribbean. It's quite clear Royal Caribbean wants to get rid of Sabor, among other specialty restaurants, and that's fine. But it's not the same as it was back in 2016, 2018, something like that. For whatever reason, I don't know, but it's not the same thing. It's still good. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Please don't cry for me, Argentina. I had a very nice bowl of guacamole yesterday, but it wasn't like the let's just say when I go to Mexico in a couple days, I will be very much indulging over there as opposed to maybe going back to Sabor specifically for the guacamole, which is fine. Let's see here. Kelly's got a quick, and some other people have asked me about this. Did you discuss Canada dropping requirements? Can you repeat if you did? Selling Voyager 10-2, waiting on Royal Caribbean to update. Yeah, so the answer is, there's a two-part question. The answer is Canada did update its protocols, basically dropping almost all of its protocols, very similar to the U.S. It begins October 1st. But Kelly, there's been no update yet from Royal Caribbean. I posted just before this live broadcast an article on RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com with what we know. But Royal Caribbean has been saying on social media that as of right now, there's been no change to the protocols. That's not unusual, Kelly. I don't want you to look at that and be like, oh gosh, what are they doing? It takes them time. It's the protocols for a cruise line. They can't just run and gun with their protocols. They got to internalize it. They've got to run it through the system, figure out the requirements. It's a bit of a process. So hopefully, Kelly, you'll get an answer well before you're sailing. But it's just, they don't know that yet. But that's not unusual. Usually there's a bit of a lag factor when any government protocols change as for the cruise line to, again, internalize it. So I would, you just gotta be a little patient with it. I know you want an answer for that, but there isn't an answer yet as to what to expect. Everything we do know about it is over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. But essentially for Canada, you won't need to use the ArriveCan app anymore. You won't need to be vaccinated to go to Canada, among other changes. But again, how it relates to cruises, or specifically Royal Caribbean, still remains to be seen. How can I stop my husband from watching your videos? He is addicted. There's nothing you can do. You got to strap in and enjoy the ride. Love it. Let's see here. Christopher Carroll, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, buddy. Try to decide between my time dining or not. How long is the wait if you don't make a reservation? Good question, Christopher. Here's what I would tell you. I mean, I don't know. The answer is the wait will depend on a variety of factors. Time of day, how many people in your party, where you want to eat, how many other people at the time of day. There's a lot of factors. It's impossible to know. My advice to you, and listen, I prefer traditional dinner in the main dining room, as in I prefer a set time. Yes, it's kind of like 5:30 is too early, 8 o'clock is too late. I get that. I live in that world. That being said, the ability to just have a set time for dinner with traditional and then being able to always have your table ready, same wait staff, I think it's worthwhile. I think it's, I've seen the lines, whether big or small, for or long or short, I should say, for my time dining. And every time I'm like, I'm glad I did traditional dining. So if you're asking my opinion, I would not do it. I know there's people that love my time dining. That's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. But since Christopher asked my opinion, I say not to do it because I personally prefer the convenience of just having the same tables and no waits. So for me, that's the reason why, yes, eating dinner at 5:30 is too early, but it's the lesser of two evils, as it were, in my opinion. Thank you, Christopher, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Jonathan Enriquez. Thank you, Jonathan. Are we still able to reprice cruises before final payment? Website says no changes 48 hours before booking. Yeah, so this is when a good travel agent comes in handy, John. The answer is yes. I just had one reprice the other day for my travel agent. So if you're a U.S. resident, Canadian resident, Australian resident, UK, no. You are able to do that. It's still a policy. It's one of those policies, honestly, Jonathan, it's not written down somewhere. As in, you can't go to the website and find it, but it is a policy. Good travel agent can do it for you. My travel agent does it all the time. Good, like example number 783, why using a good travel agent is so important. But yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Alex wants to know, can we hire a second cabin for a single night while on board to get some space? No. You either book a cabin or you don't for the cruise. There is no, doesn't work that way. So the answer to that is no. Yeah, I know I need to be more backlit. The problem is I have my phone here. I don't think it's really doing anything. See if I go like this. There I am. Look at that. This is not awkward or weird at all. But I wanted to show you the awesome view I have back here. And yeah, I need some more backlighting. This is not doing me any good, except blinding me. So we'll just leave it over there. But you are not wrong on there. Why would we want to go to Tony Diaz's hometown? Well, you know what? If you've never been on a cruise before, shore excursion is always worth doing. Loretta, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Loretta wants to know, how does Johnny Rockets work? I know you have to pay for it, but do we have to reserve ahead of time? You can make a reservation. Johnny Rockets usually isn't too busy that you need a reservation, but it's a cover charge restaurant, Loretta. So you go in there, you pay a cover charge per person, and then the food is included. Like I said, you could make a reservation. I don't think it's really necessary. It's a pretty big restaurant. There's not that much demand for it because it's more of a casual eatery. So pretty much show up is what I would recommend. 12th man proud with another epic slapped on ADS super chat. Woo! Do you know when bookings will be released? Where will the inaugural cruise go from? I assume you mean Icon of the Seas because you didn't mention which ship. But the answer is no and no. Well, no to the first part. Do I know when the bookings will be released? No, I do not. And where will the inaugural cruise go from? Royal Caribbean said, and by Royal Caribbean, I really mean Michael Bailey, who's the CEO, said earlier this year, this is back in I think March, he said initially there would be like a sailing or two from Southampton, England, and then she'll move over to Miami and cruise from there. Now, I believe what Michael Bailey said may have been accurate at the time. Is that still the plan? I have no idea. Nothing's been officially announced, 12th man. So there's no further information to share. The good news for you, and for everybody, I think, is that there is an event next month. I'll be going down to Miami to check it out and hopefully get more information about that. So we should have some information. I'm not saying we're going to get every single question answered. I don't expect that to be the case, but I think we're going to get a lot of questions answered next month when we go down to Miami. So more information, more updates to come. Stay tuned on that one. Ben, thank you for the super chat, buddy. First cruise in 27 days on Oasis of the Seas to Coco Key. Any suggestions for things to do for a couple on their honeymoon? I mean, really, it's a good question, Ben. I get this question all the time. And my advice to you is simply do what you guys want to do. Some honeymooners want to spend all time in their cabin getting to know each other, as they say, right? And if you have any more questions on how does one get to know each other, you can ask Tony Diaz in the chat. He will be happy to give you detailed instructions. But some honeymooners want to have an amazing, memorable trip for other reasons. Like maybe they want to go do really cool shore excursions. Maybe they want to go tackle the flow rider and see it all, do it all on board the ship. That can be an option for them. So my best advice to you, Ben, is simply figure out what as a couple, what are you looking to experience on your cruise vacation? You know, maybe it's booking a really memorable cruise shore excursion. Maybe it's booking a spa treatment. I remember on our honeymoon cruise, we did a couples massage in the spa. Sounds like a really cool idea. I think it was a waste of money because it was just look, it's a great idea, except for the fact that when you're both having a massage, a Swedish massage being done, your eyes are closed, your head is facing down, you're in the same room as your partner, but like it's not like you're looking at each other's eyes and like butterflies are flying. Like it was anyway. I digress. Maybe I just don't have a soul. That being said, it really depends on what you find fun and memorable. And I think at the end of the day, you want a honeymoon that truly stands out from other vacations you've taken. And to me, that says, oh, well, then you're going to splurge. You're going to book a cabana at Perfect Day Coco Key. You're going to do an awesome shore excursion. You're going to do a dining package, especially restaurants. You know, the kind of things maybe you wouldn't ordinarily do on other vacations because it is an extra special vacation. So there you go. Thank you for the super chat. Derek, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for helping my girlfriend and I plan our first vacation together. We had a great time on Allure 2 weeks ago. Swam with the pigs and drove jet skis at Coco Key and the ruins, an ATV tour in Mexico. See, that's like exactly, that wasn't maybe your honeymoon. That's like an awesome plan right there. So you're very welcome, Derek. Thank you for the super chat. I'm so glad to hear you had a really nice time on your cruise. Sounds awesome. Let's see here. Next question is from Nelson, who wants to know, why does Royal Caribbean not allow leftover FCCs to be converted to onboard credit? Well, they do now. They changed the policy, Nelson, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I posted about it at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, but that is a new policy. So the answer is yes. Now, listen, if this scenario is this, Nelson, you have a cruise booked, you applied the FCC months ago, that probably won't work. But if you have an FCC right now and you want to apply it right now, then the policy is to make the leftover FCC become an onboard credit. Again, that policy changed about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Wu-Tang Life, good to see you here, buddy. Is there any way to get a solo inside cabin with drinks and Wi-Fi for $1,000 to $1,100? The cheapest on Royal Caribbean I've ever seen is about $1,500. How can you get Traveler sale on? Oh, good question. I mean, the answer is, well, basically, you're going to have to play with the sailing you pick, right? Could you get an inside cabin with a drink package? I assume you mean the deluxe beverage package and Wi-Fi for about $1,000? I'm sure it's possible. You're almost certainly doing a 3-night cruise, or it almost certainly you have to do like a very short sailing, because even if you get a dirt cheap 7-night cruise somewhere, the per night cost of the drink package alone is going to make it almost impossible, because for a 7-night cruise for 2 people, you're probably paying $700 at least for the drink package. So for that reason, you almost certainly need to do like a 3 or 4-night cruise at the most in order to make that kind of math work. So I would say that would be the case right there. Let's see here. Diamond Dave Grossi. Love the name, Diamond Dave. Thank you for the super chat. Matt, if I book a cabin for me and my 24-year-old son and I purchase the drink package for both and he does not come, will I be refunded his drink package? Theoretically, the answer is yes, Dave. In situations like this where I booked my wife, but I don't know if she's actually coming, or I know she's not coming, but I booked her anyway because I wanted to get a cheaper rate for 2 people, I wait to buy the drink package on board the ship. The answer would theoretically should be yes. They're a no-show. I would expect that to be the case, Dave, but I don't know that to be a fact, and I've never tried it out myself, so I don't want to promise you anything because I don't know anything more than that. KB, what's up, Kevin? Good to see you. Have you seen an increase in cruise prices lately? Great to see you early in the UK. Yeah, well, listen, don't thank me. Thank 150 Central Park, because we can only get dinner around 7, so here I am instead. Have I seen a general increase in cruise prices? I mean, yeah, I've seen a general increase in price on almost everything. There are still deals to be out there, Kevin. So I think that when it comes to cruise pricing, have I generally seen prices going up? Sure. I don't disagree with that idea. Are there still amazing deals to be had? Yes. You got to look for them. But I still think cruising is a tremendous value. I mean, let's put this, KB. When it comes to cruising, even whatever the prices are at, when you factor in dining, entertainment, food, dining, and food, well, food is dining, Matt. it's still a great value that's out there. But depending on time of year, and depending on type of cabin. So like on this great example, KB, on this cruise, we're in a loft suite. But the reason why we're in a loft suite is I booked this cruise like a year ago and it was a steal of a deal, right? But last month when I went on Mariner of the Seas, I was in an inside room because that was the good last minute deal I could find. So, pricing being what it is, there are still deals to be out there. But if you're like, hey, Matt, I go on a cruise once a year. I cruise during spring break, summertime, something like that. Very popular time of the year. I don't have flexibility. I don't live in Florida. I can't do that. Then you might be paying more than you maybe did a couple of years ago. But that's true of like everything in life, I feel like. All that being said, I still truly, KB, feel like it's still a great value out there. So you gotta play a game a little bit when it comes to the pricing and booking early, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, Icon. That's what I thought, 12th man. That's what I thought. I mean, I don't think you were that excited about the Mariner of the Seas release. Could be wrong on that. So, Z wants to know, have they closed the ports in Canaveral, Miami to cruise ships? Nope, they have not. I do know that one port. Hang on. There's different like code words to the ports. I know that like right now. Port Canaveral is condition X-ray. The port remains open to all commercial traffic. So that's the latest. Miami and Fort Lauderdale, no changes there. But Royal Caribbean doesn't cruise out of Tampa this time of year anyway, so I don't know what's happening in Tampa. But yeah, there's different things that are in there and there's different conditions. But as of right now, there's been no changes for any cruise ships, Royal Caribbean cruise ships, I should say, for their ability to get into ports. The good news is, I guess you want to look at it this way, is that the storm is hitting during the middle of the week, which is not a popular time for cruise ships to come back. It's usually the weekends that you see that there. So, Brandon wants to know, what do you think the pearl of the icon on the icon is? It's a good guess. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see on that. There's a lot of interesting ideas out there of what it possibly could be. So we'll see. Silvera's one. Thank you for the super chat. What's the best activity out of St. Martin? I think going to the beach. There's a lot of great beaches. I think the French side beaches are better than the Dutch side. So Marigot, Grand Case, even Orient Beach, I would say definitely the way to go there. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. KB, thank you for the super chat. Is there a launch date for Icon yet? No, it's still targeted for late 2023, but there's no date that I'm aware of. When they say late KB, I am assuming we're talking about like November-ish, but I really don't know. They have not announced anything officially. So that's just my guess, quite frankly, based on reading some tea leaves and whatnot. Corey, Shanatova to you and your family. Thank you, buddy. Rocio, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't see a super chat message from you, but I do appreciate you. And Micah, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you to you both. Micah's question is, first cruise ever 2023, Wonder of the Seas, Grand Suite, 20th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. Should we ask Royal Caribbean to book our flights, hotels, or should we do it? Does Royal Caribbean offer any U.S. military discounts besides the room? Good question. When it comes to the books, flight or hotel, I'm assuming you booked this cruise on your own. You did not use a travel agent, right? I would probably say just book even though there is an ability for Royal Caribbean to book your flights and hotel, well, really for you to do it through the Air to Sea program for the flights and through the Royal Caribbean Hotels program for the hotels. I still think you're probably better off on your own. I'm not sure that it would make a lot of sense for you to book it through those programs. I think, in my opinion, I'd say just book those on your own. As to whether or not Royal Caribbean offers a military discount besides the room, no, I'm not aware of any. I could be wrong on this, but I'm not aware of any discounts, military discounts. And thank you for your service, by the way. I'm not aware of any discounts for beyond the cruise fare. Could be wrong on that, but I've never heard of it or I can't recall hearing about that. So thank you for your super chat. Appreciate it. We got a spammer in the chat here. Add the block button there. Enraged Bacon, love the name. Hey there, T-minus 125 days till the Eastern Caribbean Wonder of the Seas cruise in January. Does the Wonder have a Broadway show? No, it does not. Will it? If not, will it ever? ever. I mean, 10, 20 years from now, maybe. But no, there's no plans to add one in Rage Bacon. They do have in the Royal Theater Effectors 2, which is a show they added over the summer, which wasn't there in March. That's an original Royal Caribbean production, but there is not a Broadway show on board like there is here on Allure. This is your Mamma Mia. No, they're not doing that over there. Eek, a mouse. For the Royal Caribbean parking at the Port of Miami, can you anyone just drive in? No reservations needed. Correct. You just drive in, super easy. Don't have to worry about making a reservation over there. So, hope that makes sense. Excuse me. Judy, do you still have to upload your COVID vaccine card? Nope, wasn't part of this thing over there. So, Aaron Ross, thank you for the super chat. I was on a Carnival cruise, saw Allure docked in Cozumel, so was jealous of those passengers. Finally get to experience Oasis class in November on Harmony. Nice. First of all, you're on a Carnival cruise. I'm so sorry. Just kidding. I'm not, but I am kidding. And then you get to experience an Oasis class in November. Ain't nothing like it, Aaron. Ain't nothing like it. You're going to have an awesome, awesome time. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. How are we doing on time here? We got a little more time. I would love a bottle of water, but it's too far away for me to go get it right now. Mr. Mania, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from you, but I'll keep an eye on it. But thank you for the super chat. Some people just do super chats, and very, very kind of you. Let's see here. Justin wants to know, any Royal Caribbean ships being canceled due to tropical storm? No. Remember, it's very rare for cruises to be canceled because of a tropical storm or a hurricane. More common is they're rerouted. So as an example, we're on Allure this season. Our itinerary was changed. We're still going to Cozumel and Costa Maya. We dropped Roatan. We're taking a longer way to get there around the storm. Liberty of the Seas dropped its stop in Cozumel. They're going to hang back in the Gulf because they're coming out of Galveston, let the storm pass, and then they're going to come in a little bit later and go to Grand Cayman in Jamaica. Mariner of the Seas is flip-flopping their itinerary to get around the storm. So the answer is no. No cruises are being canceled. It is extremely rare for a cruise to be canceled because of a storm. More likely, they just get itineraries changed. Sometimes what may happen, Justin, is a cruise could be lengthened or shortened. That can also happen. That's not the case in this situation. But I want to make it clear that if you're going on a cruise and there's a hurricane, it's pretty unlikely your cruise will be straight up canceled. It's more likely there'll be an itinerary change than anything else. So, Tryon, if I don't have my car of my own, what's the best way to get to the Port of Miami? Lyft or Uber. I assume you're flying in then. I would definitely say Lyft or Uber is the way to go. RJ says Freedom of the Seas is amazing. I agree. Love that ship. Harsh wants to know, is there a senior discount applicable? There is, yes. So there can be. Let's put it that way. There are many discounts that are available. There's military discounts. There's interline discounts if you're like a flight attendant or work in the travel industry. There's military discounts, as we talked about. There are residency discounts, and not just like residents of like Florida or Georgia. There have been Canadian discounts. There are discounts for other states out there. There are senior discounts. Not every cruise has one. And this is why it is so important to use a good travel agent, because there are so many discounts out there you just might not even know about. But there can be discounts, but not every sailing has a potential discount available to you. So hope that makes some sense. Taisha wants to know, does the drink package ever go below 35%? It can, but here's the bottom line, Taisha. A couple things. Number one, the percentage you see when it says, hey, save up to blank percentage off, it's irrelevant. Ignore that number. The number you really care about is how much is the drink package. And Royal Caribbean's sales and drink package prices are a bit of a game. They go up and down like this, right? Here's the bottom line. If you think you might want to get the drink package, book it now, lock in the price. Taisha, if there's a better price on the drink package tomorrow, next week, next month, anytime before your cruise, you can cancel your drink package online and rebook it under the new price, no penalty, and you're good to go, right? But you say, well, Matt, why don't I just wait? Maybe there'll be a better sale next week, and I'll book it when it goes on sale. Sometimes, and more likely, the price goes up. And if you do that, then you're going to have lost out on that lower price. So book it now, lock in the price, guard against a price increase, but still be able to take advantage of a price decrease later on. Jennifer wants to know, hi, Matt, when can you expect the onboard activity show reservations to appear in the cruise planner? They don't, Jennifer. So since COVID, they've not become available in the cruise planner. You have to wait to get on board the ship to book them. So they won't until before your cruise, almost certainly. What is my favorite thing to do in Nassau? Probably book a resort pass. So I go to resortforaday.com and book a day pass over there. That's my favorite thing to do right there. Tony, go for the glass of Kraken next to me. No Kraken next to me, Tony. Believe it or not. No, I don't have. There's no booze next to me over here. Just I'm actually using a bottle of water for my my camera stand, so I'd have to go back to the refrigerator to get one. That's all right. Next question is from Red. Would you please go over the process of receiving your SeaPass card if you check in online? Yeah, no worries at all. This is true for everybody, right? It doesn't matter how you check in. Your SeaPass card will be waiting for you at your cabin, Red. So when you get to the cruise terminal, you show them your set sail pass, whether it's on your phone, you print it out, whatever. You get on board the ship with that. And then whenever your stateroom is ready, then your SeaPass cards will be waiting there. In the interim period, like you get on board the ship and say, well, I bought the drink package. How do I get I don't have a SeaPass. That's all right. You let them know. They'll write down your cabin number, and they'll be able to apply it later on. So not to worry about that. You'll still be able to get everything over there. Hawker Tech, thank you for the super chat. 55-day solar cruise on the Allure out of Galveston. Nice. Fantastic. You're going to have an awesome time, Hawker. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Mr. Mania, thank you for the super chat. Are you from upstate New York? I paid for my passport. I paid for my passport. I'm in Catskills, and you posted the Catskill, New York post office. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. But no, I'm not from upstate New York. I have no idea what you mean. I paid for my passport. Okay, I kind of understand that. You posted the Catskill, New York post office. I didn't post anything from the Catskills or post office or anything. So I'm not sure what you mean by that or who you is referring to. Thank you for the super chat. But I mean this in the nicest way possible. I have no earthly idea what you're talking about. So I don't know what you think. Let me make this crystal clear. The answer is no. I am not from the Catskills. I don't work at the post office. I don't have your passport. I didn't post anything about cats. Matt, did not post anything about Catskills or post offices or anything like that. So I have no idea what you're talking about, but I mean this in the nicest way possible. So I don't know what you mean. Gary wants to know, what's the best advice for solo cruises? The ship is irrelevant, Gary. I don't think it really matters which ship you go on as a solo cruiser. I think a cruise is what you make of it, Gary. And for some people, solo cruiser, they just like, maybe they'll sit at their desk somewhere and do their work and just have a little, workcation. Some people will do all the activities and be the life of the party. Some people will sit by the pool and tan and take naps and play roulette. We call those people Tony Diaz, and they'll have a great time by themselves. A cruise is what you make of it. So my advice for a solo cruiser is a couple things. Number one, I think it's really good. I think it's really important to me anyway to get the internet. That way you can kind of do something and you got no one to talk to, so you can at least use the internet to be able to talk to friends back home, post social media, things like that. If you are feeling a little lonely, I might say go to events on board the ship. Trivia and other activities are really good ways to meet people, bars in general. So it's just not about in a platonic way, not picking up a potential partner, but just, making friends. Another good one is to do a shore excursion, do a Royal Caribbean shore excursion, because those are all group tours and you're basically forced to be with other people. So another good way to meet people on board. And of course, the crew members. Don't forget, the crew members are great for conversation. So again, you feel a little lonely, want to strike up a conversation, crew members are usually a good place for it to get that going there. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. Pedro, I should be studying for my math test, but I'm here watching live. Well, you should be studying live for your math test. I'm happy you're here. Thank you. But you should be studying for your test. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. But school is really important, so do your best, study. I'm really glad that you're here hanging out. It means a lot to me. Thanks, Pedro. Appreciate it, buddy. Good luck in school. Gabriel, thank you for the super chat. If I paid in full for Jewel of the Seas November 6th and wanted to do Harmony instead, could I switch it? You could cancel. Basically, you're canceling and rebooking. So the answer is you kind of answer your own question. You would cancel your Jewel sailing. You'll be subject to a cancellation fee. I forget what percentage it is. But then, yes, you could absolutely then turn around and book another cruise. But you're going to lose money, Gabriel, because the cancellation fee, depending on how many days out you're out, it's like, could be 25%, 50% of the money lost. So it's not an insignificant amount of money. Let's put it that way. But yes, you could. But I think when you look at the numbers, you're going to say, oy vey, this is way too much, and not do that. But hey, for some people, they just want to change. Aaron, thank you for the super chat. Any idea on how Navigator is doing out there in LA and how long you'll be selling out there? Good question. Thank you again for the super chat, Aaron. I'm not familiar. I don't have any numbers. Broker doesn't share that kind of information. The good news is, as far as I know, as far as we can see in deployment, Navigator is going to be out there for quite a while. So that's good. On one side, Aaron, no ship stays anywhere forever. Eventually, all ships move around. I hope that Royal Caribbean keeps a presence on the West Coast. I think it's been pretty popular. It was slow to get started, Aaron, and I think that was a combination of COVID and honestly a little bit of a marketing delay. Like the marketing department didn't really get the ball rolling as well as they probably could have done that. But since then, I think they've done a really nice job with it. And I think that it's done pretty darn well in terms of bookings, and I hope that it'll continue to do well. And I hope that, again, Royal will have a presence out on the West Coast, because the decade-long absence, I think, was just too long there. So next super chat is from Charlie. Thank you for the super chat. I paid 3 times what I usually do for Harmony, my brother's first cruise. We had multiple issues making me never want to go to Royal Caribbean again. How can I get to sell in a favorable way, changing my mind from being done with Royal Caribbean? Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear you had that experience there. I'm not sure. Obviously, this would be a longer conversation. Like, what were the issues that you had, right? Also, what do you mean by how can I get this settled? I mean, if you're looking for restitution, if you think that you should get some sort of money back from the cruise line, that is between you and Royal Caribbean. Quite frankly, Charlie, I wouldn't expect it. It's kind of like if you go to Disney World and you wait in really long lines and it rains and a bird eats your hot dog, and you trip and fall and scrape your knee. I mean, those are all terrible things. And, it's just, it is what it is kind of situation. Disney World's not giving you your money back, right? Maybe they'll give you like a free popcorn and maybe replace the hot dog, but they're not giving you like, what I'm trying to say is that in travel, there are certain things that are like that. Again, I don't know the situation you ran into, but here's what I would tell you. Just like Disney World in that example, odds are your next cruise will be better for a couple of reasons. Number one, lessons learned. You went on a cruise, you had a poor experience, which is unfortunate, not the way you want to do it, but you also at least know where those pitfalls are now to not repeat them, certainly, right? Whatever your issue was, I feel fairly certain to say that you probably know how to avoid those. Number two, if these were issues that were out of your hand, acts of God kind of things, right? The good news is it's almost unlikely for it to occur again for you. Not because you can sidestep them, but because it's unlikely that those kinds of bad experiences will happen. I've been on many cruises. I've had bad experiences on cruises. I've had situations in which I just really wish I had done something different. Situations in which I realized I had made a mistake. Not the end of the world. And more often than not, in fact, the vast majority of the time, I have an excellent time without issues on there. But the bottom line is they can happen to anybody. So my advice to you is to give it another try. My advice to you is to also look at what happened and think, were these issues like acts of God, things that were just like freak acts of nature? Were they things that, had I known X, Y, or Z, I would have done 1, 2, or 3? Then lesson learned. You won't repeat that kind of an issue right there. Unfortunately, can be a lot of issues with cruising for a lot of times with pitfalls, common mistakes or not so common mistakes. It's a learning process, and I think that anybody who's cruised a lot will tell you that. And I really feel that way. So what I'm trying to tell you, Charlie, is that I would definitely advocate giving it another try. I would definitely advocate coming at it from a different approach and knowing what you know now, applying those lessons learned to try to avoid that there. But I think that ultimately, again, I don't know the specific situation that you're referring to, so I can't give you, if you're looking for restitution, I can't speak to that at all. That's between you and Royal Caribbean. I wouldn't expect it, but you never know. But also on the other hand, if these are just, man, we really had a bad time because, we should have known that we should have done this or that or this, now you know and not to do it. And you'll probably have a much better time on your next time around there. And there's a lot of people in chat who will probably tell you, you know what, you're more likely to have a really good time than a bad time. So that tells you anything. But thank you for the super chat, Charlie. And I hope that this experience doesn't turn you off from it. It's going to be a really fun experience, really great time. Nothing's perfect. No one's perfect. First to admit that. But I do feel that you have a good opportunity to have a better cruise on your next one. Next question is from Uberrainman. 33 days till I sail on Allure. What is your gut feeling on if Starlink will be available by then? I talked about this at the beginning of this. Thank you for the super chat. I talked to the IT manager on board today, and I said, so when is Starlink coming online? And he gave me the most legal lawyer answer I've ever heard in my life, which is basically by the end of Q1 2023. And I'm like, dude, there are photos of Starlink being installed. We know it's being installed. Are we talking days, weeks? He wouldn't budge. So I have no, my gut tells me I'm hungry. My gut also tells me I think that a month from now you'll have it. And I say that because Independence of the Seas, which is also getting Starlink installed, has it already. So theoretically, logically speaking, you should be good. Let's see here. Chris, thank you for the super chat. No question. Just a thank you for all the great information. We'll be going on my first cruise in October. We're so excited. Awesome. Thank you, Chris, so much for your generosity. Very, very, very kind of you. And your first cruise in October. You're in for an awesome, awesome time. ST, will you be doing any Allure ship and cabins and excursion video tours from your cruise? Yes, we're doing a full Allure tour. That's why Jenna is not here. Jenna's on board. She's videotaping, possibly eating ice cream as we speak, but she is also videotaping the entire ship. So we're going to have a full Allure of the Seas cruise ship tour for you. And as for the shore excursion stuff, we may do some more specific things on there. She did a cabin tour of this room, so we'll have that. And I assume she toured her own she videoed her own cabin as well. So yes, good news on that front. Let's see here. Hey, JC, it's good to see you, buddy. I'm trying to book chops on Oasis for embarkation day, but it won't let me. The app says it's open at noon. Cruise is in May. I can't book other days for lunch. Yeah, usually this is not a you problem. This is you generally can't book specialty restaurants for lunch. So that's not a bad thing. That just means when you get on board the ship, you can make a reservation. But if it's not there and your cruise is you still have a few more months to go. Keep an eye on it, but it's not totally unheard of either. So. Oh, going back to the Catskill thing, your page posted a video about getting your passport and must have used stock footage from Catskill. Yeah, we use stock footage a lot of times, especially for things that we have no footage of, like post offices. So yeah, don't read too much into that, Mr. Mina. Don't read anything into that. So yeah, it's just a coincidence. Tony Diaz says naps are the best. Listen, I usually give Tony flack, but he's right on this one. As someone who just took a nap today, I can tell you they are the best. Absolutely. Let's see here. We have time for another question or two, and then my wife has to finish doing her hair. We have to go to dinner, so got to wrap it up here. Bear Bull Cruising. Thank you for the super chat. Hands doing a fist bump. Bam. Fist bump to you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, wait. JC. Sorry, Matt. Was chops for lunch? Yeah. Not dinner. Correct. No, I'm with you on that, JC. I think usually you can't make reservations before the cruise for lunch, generally speaking. So just keep an eye on it. You never know. Jennifer, thank you for the super chat. What's my opinion on Adventure of the Seas? Love Adventure of the Seas. Great ship. I love all the ships. There's not one ship I would say, oh, Jeffin, do not go on that cruise. That's a terrible idea. They're all good. The question really is, what are you looking for in a ship? Do you want a ship that has a Broadway show? Adventure doesn't have that. But Adventure of the Seas has a great pool deck. It has some great dining options on board, whether it's Azumi or Chops or Giovanni's. Cruise is what you make of it. So I love Adventure of the Seas. I've been on her twice. Went on her in June 2021. Loved it. It's a great ship. I really like it quite a bit. Susan Westfall, thank you for the super chat. FYI, for those who need to renew their passport, I got mine back in 3.5 weeks expedited. Thank you, Susan, for the generosity and the good information right there. Generally speaking, the renewal times for passports has been pretty good. I mean, there was a bit of an issue during the height of COVID in which it got really bad, but they've really turned it around, and there you go. So you can probably get it back in 3.5 weeks, like Susan said, and that sounds about average. So good information right there. Thank you, Susan, for your generosity and the update. Do appreciate that. Let's see here. Blog sticker. Wonder what that is. This is a reference to Tony Diaz, or this is a reference to Wonder of the Seas, or I'm not sure. To what I'm proud, are all the ships getting Starlink? Yes. Will it work in Europe? Yes. Every ship in the fleet will be getting it by the end of Q1 2023, but they have not said, like, scheduling wise, this ship on this date or anything like that. They just have been very cagey about the information. So, Jonesy, how do you get to the message boards? I should know, but I don't. My goodness. I go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and our main menu says message boards. Click on that link. It'll bring you right over there. Aaron Ross, thank you for the super chat. Favorite foods of 150 Central Park: apps, main, and dessert. Apps, the garlic bread is amazing. The main, I'm not a vegetarian, but I really like their cauliflower and that soup thing. I don't know what it is. It's the soup thing where you get a bowl, it's empty, and they put like a little like bread thingy on it with some stuff on it, and they dump the soup on it and then mix it up. Terrible description, but it's really good. And the dessert, the fried cheesecake, obviously, really, really good. Tony, hit the thumbs up button. Show this guy you like him, because I don't. Nice. Let's see here. Love it, guys. We got time. We got to wrap this up here, guys. So thank you all so much for joining us here. A Royal Caribbean blog sticker. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I wouldn't do stickers, Teresa. I'd probably do magnets, because stickers people tend to put on like doors, and I don't want people to do that. But a magnet's not a bad idea, so we'll have to work on that idea. Thank you. All right, guys, have a great time. I got to run to dinner. Jonesy coming in with a last-minute epic super chat. Woo! Thank you, Jonesy. Apparently, I should be spending this money on glasses, but clearly, I need them. Well, I'm glad you found the message boards, buddy. Thank you all so much. Maybe we'll do another live this week while we're in Mexico, because por qué no? But if not, we'll be back again next Monday right here on YouTube. Check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice. Plenty more Royal Caribbean information waiting for you at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thank you to every single one of our super chatters today. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I've got to run. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon. Wait a minute. We got to go one more. We got to reprieve at the last second. Cody coming in with a super chat. Thanks for all you do. You're welcome. Going on Odyssey. December 11th, my first cruise. My question is, my girlfriend is divorced. My last name doesn't match birth certificate. What do I need? You need to rectify that. You need to, well, either get her a passport. That'd be ideal. When you're going, December 11th, you can still get it. Honestly, Cody, go get that passport done like tomorrow. That's what I would do if I were you. I would go make an appointment at the post office. That's the simplest, best approach. It costs money, but it's good money spent on it. I would get the passport. Otherwise, you're going to have to get your wife's name legally changed back to her maiden name or something like that, or some other document. Get the passport. What? Oh, okay. The voice from beyond says that you should get connecting documents like the divorce decree and whatnot. Get the passport. As you heard from Susan, you get the passport done in about 3.5 weeks. That's more than enough time. We're in the end of September. That means if you did it, you could probably get it back by certainly in November or something like that. That's what I would do. But if you want, there's other ways to go around with the connecting documents there that I have no idea what it all means. But there's stuff you can do. It seems complicated. And I prefer to throw money at the problem. And the passport seems a better investment overall. So that'd be my advice there, Tony. But hopefully you'll sort that all out there. And until then, guys, have a great rest of your week. Everybody stay safe out there. Do something fun. Love you, Tony Diaz. Good night, everybody. See ya.